September of the year 2000, and he's in against a man who wasn't a bad amateur in his day, the man in the black trunks, this chunky fella from Liksik in Montenegro. Ratko Draskovic was the European junior heavyweight champion way back in 1984, and he's the reigning Balkan heavyweight champion, but I wouldn't read too much into that particular title. But as we mentioned earlier, with the heavyweight division somewhat topsy-turvy at the moment, thanks to Messrs. Jones and Saunders and Samuelson, Audley Harrison must think that, well, there must be something there in terms of a window of opportunity for him, but he's got to get past this man. Ratko Draskovic is now 37 years old. He brings to the ring a 32-fight record with 27 wins, 15 inside the distance. He's never been stopped, although he has lost 3 times. Harrison, of course, has got 9 wins from 9 contests, and 6 of them inside the distance, but the 3 men who've taken them the distance have all been British boxers. But Harrison at 17 stone 13, just some 4 pounds or so heavier than his opponent, and Harrison seems to be getting lighter and lighter all the time and getting so darn close to his Olympic gold medal winning weight, which is around 17.3, 17.4.
Yeah, we've always said that obviously his style of boxing, he's a hit and move fighter, Harrison, no doubt about it, and that's lovely boxing from Harrison there. Good double jab and a straight left hand, that was good stuff. But his style of boxing, obviously the lighter frame for Harrison will promote that style, if you like. If he's carrying a bit too much weight, then that's going to slow him down a little bit. He's certainly got to be a lot quicker on his feet than he has been, but this is a good start from him.
Well, we saw Audley Harrison in action in Brentford at the end of January when he stopped the American Rob Calloway, who was about the same size as this fella Draskovic, maybe not just as heavy, and he stopped him in 4 rounds. Harrison working behind that very awkward southpaw right of his, the one that carried him to Olympic gold glory in Sydney. Misses with the left, it's coming across. 1 or 2 interesting names on the record of Draskovic, including Sanin Samuelson, who he lost to over 6 rounds in September of 2001. When it was Samuelson, if you're with us on BBC, you remember dismantled the European hopes of Danny Williams, and also in the World Championships in Houston in '99, decision Audley Harrison. So once again, there's a certain element of a yardstick here, and Harrison boxing pretty competently, Richie. He's working nicely behind that southpaw jab. He's not trying to do anything too spectacular.
No, not at this stage. He's working excellently behind the jab. It's got to be said, Jim. Keeping the fight nice and long. Doesn't want to get involved early on, and just using that jab as his main punch, which has been excellent during that round.
Well, the hairstyle is very interesting, and the Harrison corner as ever. Phil Torrance and Kenny Kroom. Just confirmation, Audley Harrison now 31 years old. He's going to be 33 come the autumn. This is his 10th professional contest, and he's won all 9 so far, 6 of them inside the distance. Kenny Kroom and Phil Torrance were in the corner last week in Glasgow of Wayne McCulloch, who was very heavily beaten by Scott Harrison. I somehow don't think they'll have the same problems tonight with their man here. This is Draskovic, Ratko Draskovic, the reigning heavyweight champion of the Balkans, now 37 years old. He's been a professional boxer since October 1990, so well over 2.5 years, or sorry, I should say 12.5 years. Hasn't been desperately busy. So Audley Harrison is pretty confident about this contest because he's already announced that his next contest is going to be against another former ABA champion Matthew Ellis. Date and venue to be confirmed, but he's got to dispose of the reigning Balkan champion. Draskovic short and squat and chunky, and giving away an awful lot in terms of height and reach, but he's been the closest man we've seen for quite some time to Harrison in terms of weight.
Yeah, Draskovic here tonight he's finding all sorts of problems with the southpaw style, and I can certainly sympathise with him on that one, because I used to struggle against southpaws. Absolutely awful opponents to box, and it's plain to see he just cannot get to grips with Harrison's southpaw style, and that's a lovely sharp left from Harrison.
Well, that's what Harrison does best. He tees them up with that right and then brings the left across, and he's a very, very hard puncher. And he's a very fast puncher. For such a big fellow, he does have fast hands. And whatever you say about the opponents, and they said things about Frank Bruno, you beat what's put in front of you, and Harrison has done that reasonably well so far. But needless to say, there comes a time when he's got to step up to the plate. Draskovic corner urging their man to come forward, but it's very difficult when you're being outreached. And Harrison is not doing anything too spectacular. You do feel, though, Richie, that he's sizing his man up for that left, having landed with it just about a minute or so ago.
Yeah, he's looking for the left-hand combination, which is his favourite punch. But what he's trying to do is trying to draw the lead of Draskovic.
Good right hand into the body by Harrison, and that really hurt Draskovic. Good patient work by Harrison. Draskovic finding it so hard to get inside the long arms of Harrison.
And the reason why Draskovic's corner were shouting at him so much is because when he's actually getting close to Harrison, that's when they're shouting, because that's when he's got to work, because they know that when he's in close, he must start unleashing some hard shots.
Harrison towering over the man who's come to meet him here in Wembley. Paul Thomas refereeing. 15 seconds remaining. Harrison again being pretty cautious. There's that stiff jab, and that really rocked Draskovic back on his feet. And again, and he thought about the left and then changed his mind, maybe just as well. Not too many seconds remaining, and that was a good finish by Harrison. The build-up has been patient, and obviously we've got to measure everything against the quality of the opponent, but Harrison can't be faulted for the opening 6 minutes. They're scheduled for 8 rounds. Bit of action from that second round. Harrison towering over his man, outreaching him. Good defense, more or less, and there was a great left hand, came right through the defense of Draskovic. Wonderful shot by Harrison, straight through the middle.
Yes, some good work from Harrison. Lovely straight punches. Just varied it there, just changed the angle of playing of the punch, and yeah, some good stuff from Harrison. If anything though, Jim, got to be a little bit more with the doubles and treble punches rather than the single shot.
Well, Harrison needs perhaps just to be a little bit more dynamic now. He's got the opening 2 rounds under his belt. This is the second time he's been scheduled to go 8 rounds. Lasted 4 against Rob Calloway at the end of January in Brentford. And that came after a first round stoppage of Sean Robinson, who had been beaten a year or so earlier in 2 by Danny Williams. So again, everything that Harrison seems to do has got a certain element of purpose to it. There still will be people who would like to see him going in with Julius Francis or Pelly Reid or Michael Sprott or Michael Holden, but that no doubt will come. Matthew Ellis is next up. Draskovic as yet hasn't offered very much. Seems a little bit cautious and is working hard to get in close to Harrison, and I think Draskovic has got to take his courage in both hands, Richie.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You've got to get to Harrison. If you stay at long range with Harrison, he'll literally pick you off all night, and he's just quite happy to work at his own pace, keeping it nice and long. But that is better from him. That's much better working underneath as well there with the uppercuts. But Draskovic has got to get up to Harrison and close that gap down.
Well, he's now 37 years old. I mean, Audley, by his own admission, is no spring chicken, and every contest, he says, is a learning experience for him. So one wonders when he feels he's absorbed enough to make the big step. Again, Harrison being somewhat ultra cautious, just trying to wait for the opportunity. That's a good right hand. He varied that nicely. So there's some good variation in the work of Harrison. Draskovic took it pretty well, and Harrison's caught him again. Draskovic is starting to wobble. A minute to go in this, the third. And the man from Montenegro in all sorts of trouble here now. Harrison piling it on. Back comes Draskovic. Harrison trying to dig away inside. Watch the heads from A-star referee Paul Thomas. Good right hand, Harrison says, that's nothing at all, come to me. Well, I've never seen Harrison do that before. I'm not sure I want to see him do it again. That's a bit disrespectful. He's a better boxer than that.
Yeah, he is, Jim, but at the same time, I think that was a good punch from Draskovic, and he was literally just fooling him there, just trying to get through it for a couple of seconds there. I think Harrison was actually stunned from that shot. That was a good punch.
Well, we do remember him taking a decent shot from Mark Krantz, who really was a blown-up cruiserweight, and it gave him a little bit of trouble. 15 seconds to go to the end of the third. Draskovic seems to have recovered from that.
Yeah, Harrison's just gone a little bit static here. I do think that was a good shot, and it's really making him think. But at the start of the round, he was working a lot better. At the last half minute of that round, he slowed up from that shot.
Well, he's perspiring pretty heavily. This is the 37-year-old. Some action from that last round. Harrison just missing, but that wasn't a bad shot at all, and there's a lovely right hand came across from very short range. He does produce some excellent punches, Harrison, and that was another good left right through the guard of the opponent. And that was the shot that got through, and that was the one that caused Harrison to shake his head. And obviously there's a certain element of bravado there. Some boxers, like Mexicans, we look at Barrera when he gets hit, he just doesn't even blink and he keeps coming at you. Some boxers have their own way of reacting. Well, Harrison every single round according to Richie so far. So Harrison comes forward a little bit flat-footed, you've got to say, but still seems to be boxing well within himself against an opponent who on paper looks well more than worthy. He's been in twice with a very good Hungarian former European heavyweight challenger Lajos Eros. Drew with him and lost to him on points. So there are one or two good men on his records, as we've already mentioned.
Well, Harrison is definitely the much more superior boxer, but I just feel that if he just upped the work rate a little bit here, he could really make a much bigger impression on Draskovic. There's too many single shots from Harrison. He's got to start doubling up a little bit. That's better, much better.
Well, he maybe is listening to you, Richie. And don't forget that Draskovic has never ever been stopped. He's lost 3 and drawn 2 of his contests. Harrison again trying to tee his man up without southpaw. Draskovic being a little bit on the slow side. That right was really delivered at a snail's pace. Not going to bother Harrison unduly. But if he steps in and gets toe-to-toe, we could do some work on the inside where Harrison might be just a little bit vulnerable. Uppercut again from Harrison. Midway through the fourth. This is the point where Harrison disposed of Rob Calloway, although Calloway actually retired on the stool because Harrison had broken his jaw, as it turned out. Well, Harrison not really doing enough at this stage, Richie.
No, he's just prepared there just to hang on a little bit and take a bit of a breather. But you know, he's commanding with the jab, but he's just got to be a little bit more positive with the left hand. He's throwing a lot of single jabs that are getting home. They're hitting the target, but he needs to step that up now and start throwing some bigger shots.
Well, coming up to the midway point of this scheduled 8-rounder. Harrison has never gone past 6, remember. Derek McCafferty, Mark Krantz and Mr. Negus of the Dominic variety. All took him 6 rounds. Draskovic coming forward. This has been a very quiet round indeed for both of them. That's better from Harrison. 2 good accurate southpaw jabs from him. He needs to pick it up a little bit perhaps by the end of this round. He certainly has the strength and he certainly has the accuracy.
Well, there you have a typical example, Jim. He delivered 2 or 3 excellent jabs there, hitting the target, but he never followed up with the bigger shots. And that's a problem that Harrison's got, that he's got to sort out. because he could finish these guys.
Well, I don't know. I'm maybe wrong, but he just looks a little bit out of sorts with himself at all. I'm not sure whether it's the blue hair or not. All sorts of stories about biblical gentlemen having trouble when their hair was taken away from them, but well, that's an interesting colour combination, blue and silver. That's the best work Harrison did, and two very good southpaw rights, but he didn't really back them up with the left coming across. One and then two. Look at that wonderful stuff in amateur boxing. They would have scored two single clean shots without a doubt. But this is not amateurs. This is a man's in his 10th professional fight. Yeah, he looks a little bit. He does look a little bit out of sorts, I have to say. Can't quite hear what they're saying in the corner, but plenty of experience in there with Phil Torrance and Kenny Kroom, who've been with him right from the start. So Harrison in the blue and silver against Ratko Draskovic, 37 years old, who's up on his toes now really for the first time, and maybe he's seen something in Harrison's makeup that might give him a little bit of hope in terms of winning this contest.
Well, great variation there from Harrison. He threw a jab, he threw a long right hook, and then he changed the angle then for a little uppercut there. Excellent variation. Lovely boxing skills, but again, Jim, we want to see heavier shots.
Might just have taken a breather in that last round. We may have been doing him a slight injustice, but this is the 5th, scheduled for 8, remember. Harrison's 10th professional contest. Matthew Ellis, 1995 ABA heavyweight champion, already lined up it seems. Harrison looking a little bit more confident now than he did in the last round, varying it quite nicely. Good footwork by Harrison. And again leading with the left, just switching very slightly from his normal southpaw.
Yeah, again, excellent boxing from Harrison. It really is good stuff, but we just want to see a little bit more power in there as well. He's in total command here, Jim. No doubt about that. He's boxing beautifully with the jab and the straight left that's coming across, but we just need to see heavier shots.
Well, Draskovic looked over at his corner to the father and son combination, Miroslav and Luka Popovic, as if he was looking for a little bit of advice or inspiration or something. A minute to go to the end of the 5th. Harrison just inaccurate with that left hand, but the right came through quite nicely. And you've got to remember that this is a man who went the distance with the current European heavyweight champion and the former European heavyweight champion. Better by Harrison, but good defense by Draskovic.
The problem that Draskovic has got, he wants to get close to Harrison. He knows his corner will be telling him that you've got to get up to this guy and work on the inside, but as he's trying to get there, then Harrison with that long jab and that long straight left, he's just walking onto the shots. You've got to have more head movement, Draskovic. That's what he's got to have.
Well, Draskovic back to his corner. Started his professional boxing career way back in October of 1990. He wasn't desperately busy. Had 19 fights in something like 8 years before his first loss to the good Hungarian Lajos Eros.
I mean, that was a superb long straight left, and he followed it up there on the inside with a short right hook, which was good. But generally, you know, the shots are bouncing off this guy. Harrison needs to make more of an impression.
Well, that right hand of Harrison's, I think, made a considerable impression on the jaw of this sturdy-looking fellow from Lixik in Montenegro. Harrison looking relaxed and confident in his own corner.
Second round, round 6.
3 rounds remaining, and is Ratko Draskovic going to be the 4th man to take Audley Harrison the distance in the first over 8 rounds. I'm sure Harrison will want to get this out of the way long before the scheduled 8 rounds are over. Better work by Harrison now. Sense there might be somewhat of a greater sense of urgency this round.
Yeah, that's better. He's up the pace a little bit, and that's what he's got to do, Jim. Start throwing more blows instead of the single shots, doubling it up. That's much better.
Against a man who's never been stopped, Harrison is just taking his time, and you feel he might just crank it up a little bit. Harrison feinting with that left to get that southpaw jab in the face of his opponent. That's better. Minute gone in round 6. Good movement by Harrison. Good movement by Harrison. Almost got himself caught and retaliated. In fact, he did get a little clip round the chin, but I mean, he really does sometimes surprise you for such a big man. He's got some very, very delicate movements, and that was a wonderful counter by Harrison. Oh, that's a good shot by Harrison. This is better by him. He really has upped the pace in this round, and Draskovic was certainly hurt by that. Paul Thomas gave him the count, and Harrison now is in fairly serious command. Has to be careful. Draskovic is not going to lie down. It's not just an easy pain out.
Well, that literally was trading hook for hook, wasn't it? Draskovic landed a left hook, but Harrison landed the bigger right hook, and actually sent him, the Yugoslav, to the canvas.
A minute to go toward the end of the 6th, and really the most impressive piece of boxing and punching we've seen from Harrison since the start of this contest. And there's a wee bit of a bounce about Big Audley now. Good covering up by him. Hands held high. Harrison breathing a little bit on the heavy side. Good left round the corner from Harrison. Caught his man, and he does hit very hard.
There's a nice short right hook as Draskovic came in as well from Harrison. That was a great shot from Harrison there, but Jim needs to follow it up with more punches. It's just all singles at this stage, and it's not enough.
Well, 6 rounds almost negotiated by Harrison. Signs there that he was looking pretty comfortable in that round, but we haven't, I think, seen Harrison really explode into the sort of action that we really expect from him. I think he's maybe keeping a little bit in reserve, but we'll have to wait and see. But there were signs in that round that Harrison really has the winning of this contest. Great bit of pressure boxing from him. Draskovic, look at Harrison, a little tap, 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 and then wonderful 3-punch combination by Harrison. That was his best little spell. Wonderful shot.
Yeah, and there was that hook for hook, wasn't it? Literally, Draskovic trying to come around the guard with the left, but Harrison got him first with his right hook.
Just as well, perhaps, I can tell you. Well, this is good punching by Harrison. Not letting the shorter, chunkier fellow off the hook at all. His best round by far. And he would have taken that one 10-8, I'm quite sure.
Round 7.
So 6 rounds gone, and this is something that territory Harrison hasn't been into for quite some time. He's been popping guys away, and he looks like a man on a mission here. There's a bit more of a spring in the step and a bounce in the step, and he knows that he can hurt and maybe even stop a man who's certainly been hurt before but never stopped before. Harrison grunts, covers up well, round the corner right from Draskovic. Didn't have any effect on him. Draskovic is doing a fair bit of holding. Might not do Harrison any harm to get 8 rounds under his belt, but I'm sure he'd prefer to add another stoppage to his record. It looks so much better.
Yeah, if he can stop this guy, this would be a good performance from Harrison. Not many fellas stop this guy, so this would be a good performance.
Draskovic comes here on the back of 4 wins in the last 15 months. What a great left hand that was by Harrison. Teed his man up sweetly with the southpaw right, and a nice short punch right through the guard, right on the target area. And the homely features of Draskovic suddenly winced in pain as Harrison got to him. Midway through round 7 now, has Harrison got the wherewithal to end this? Draskovic is holding. Harrison needs just to pick up the pace and start throwing little clusters again. He's maybe looking for one big shot. He's got to keep that right hand of his up, because Draskovic has got a decent looking left hook, which is the way to beat a southpaw.
Yeah, there's a couple of great straight lefts there from Harrison, but he's waiting too long again, Jim. He should have pounced on this fella after you throw those shots, but that's much better. He's in command with that jab.
We're using all his great advantages of height and reach and hand speed. Just 30 seconds remaining. Harrison still not really pressing home the advantage he enjoyed in the early part of the round, or the mid part of the round. Maybe part of the plan to go the full 8 rounds for the first time. Not doing any harm, I'm quite sure. Good short right hand by Harrison, and again Draskovic has to hold on. Not time once again for Harrison to inflict anything serious on Draskovic. But Popovich is screaming at their man from the corner, and back goes Harrison. Miroslav Popovich gets into the ring. Harrison, a little feint and straight through again. That was probably one of the best punches he's thrown all the way through the contest. Right through. That was a good shot.
That was a super punch, it really was. Excellent, he just didn't follow it up, but yeah, I mean, you have to say it was a great shot.
Well, Harrison for the first time deciding not to bother sitting down, and Draskovic hasn't managed to win a single round, and indeed Harrison won the number 6, 10-8. 10 seconds. And Phil Torrance in the corner, and he must be reasonably happy with that. I think Harrison, if he could, would like to stop this fella, but nobody's done that before. So, into new territory for Audley Harrison. He's never been 8 rounds before. It will not do him a single bit of harm. This, remember, his 10th professional contest. Draskovic has got to come forward now to try to win this. He's going to have to stop Harrison. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that, but whether or not Harrison can stop him is another matter. He's certainly doing his best, and again a good left hand by Harrison. Rocked the reigning Balkan heavyweight champion. That's a much more confident Harrison now than we saw. Wicked looking left, wasn't too far away. Paul Thomas breaks him up. And again, Draskovic just quite content to hold on, doesn't want to let Harrison use his reach advantage. But it's up to Harrison now to really boss this contest, which he's got to dominate it.
Definitely, I mean, this is much better from Harrison now, but you know, it would just cap off a good night for Harrison if he could stop this fella. And what he should be doing now, he should be stepping up, really forcing the pace, because Draskovic is just prepared just to hold on and hopefully land with the odd single shot. So what Harrison's got to do, he's got to really up the pace here, a bit of a grandstand finish, and it would be a great night work for him.
Well, he's doing his very best now. There's a bit more of a bounce about the work of Harrison. I wonder, does he fancy this? He must know that this round is about halfway gone. Harrison trying to get him on the counter, and did, and again Draskovic has to hold on. Harrison slipped away from him, and I think that was a little bit of theatrics there from Draskovic. He actually spat the gum shield out to give him a little bit more time. He was certainly under pressure, and this rugged, tough 37-year-old, I think, realised that he got hit, and got hit very hard, and the gum shield, I'm quite sure, came out deliberately. I may be doing him a disservice, I'm not going to argue with him, over a glass of Slivovic or whatever it is he drinks. But I think the gum shield came out deliberately because Harrison did catch him. So the clock will start again, 1 minute and 15 seconds. Harrison would love to do what nobody else has done and stop Ratko Draskovic. Oh, wonderful uppercut from Harrison. And Draskovic, the Balkan champion, is starting to go. Former European junior heavyweight champion against the reigning Olympic super heavyweight champion. And Harrison, in this last round, of which there's about 50-odd seconds, is now looking the part. It's been a very measured performance by Harrison. Again, with caution, you've got to say, you've got to measure it against the quality of the opposition. But Draskovic has proved tough and hard and very durable. And Harrison, a bit of a bounce now. He's pleased the crowd, certainly in the last couple of minutes. A wonderful left uppercut. This guy has a good chin. There's no doubt about that. He's never been stopped. He's been in against with a couple of the best heavyweights in Europe in the last couple of years and has come out with reasonable credit. And here's one of the aspiring heavyweights, Audley Harrison, who has won every single round and has threatened to stop him. Greater things to come, needless to say, for Audley Harrison in terms of the quality of opposition. But that's it all over. No doubt about who's won that. Thank you very much indeed from Mr. Harrison. And Paul Thomas raises the hand. Well, not quite yet. Popovich, senior and junior, say well done. And Harrison has made it 10 wins from 10 contests. Didn't get the win inside the distance that he may well have wanted, but he looked in that last round that he was capable of doing it, and there was one left hand went in there, Richie, that really rocked the Balkan champion.
Yeah, he was very close to stopping the guy, there's no doubt about that, and I think he did actually spit the gum shield out.
He's thinking about it, he's thinking about it. Yeah, goodbye. Goodness sake, if your child did that out of the pram, you'd smack his bum.
But yeah,
a wonderful shot by Harrison. That little short right uppercut came right underneath the guard. And Draskovic was in all sorts of trouble right in the last round. Well, Harrison couldn't put him away, but nobody has put him away. And only Harrison really looked the part in that last round. It was a measured contest by Harrison. And you've got to say that obviously we'll look for bigger and better things from him. But in the meantime, we'll go back to the Master of Ceremonies, McGoodall, for the official confirmation of Audley Harrison's 10th professional victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of action, the referee's scorecard reads for Ratko Draskovic, 73 points, Audley Harrison, 80 points, the winner, and making it 10 out of 10, Audley Harrison!
Now, didn't lose a single round, Audley Harrison. Manager Colin McMillan is in the ring. And Audley Harrison, blue rinse and all. I think he's far away from being a member of the Blue Rinse Brigade, but that's an interesting hair coloration. But no complaints about Harrison. It's been 10 professional contests and 10 wins. Still 6 inside the distance, and we'll see if Matthew Ellis is, as expected, going to be.
Audley, many congratulations. What was your verdict on that one? Toughest fight to date?
Yeah, you know, we said beforehand, this guy's a tough guy, never been stopped. And, you know, I was going through my gears. I had him rocking a few times, but you see, he was taking some good punches. He came back with some good punches, and but I couldn't get him out of it. So, but all in all, you know, 8 rounds, I felt comfortable. And, you know, he was, as you saw, he was a tough, durable guy to all my punches. And he still came back for more right at the end.
Yeah, he was durable, and we can show you how durable. First of all, in the 3rd round, it looked like you tagged him, and then for a second or two, it looked like he might have tagged you. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, I lined him up, and then he came out with a counter. You know, he came out with a clean right hand, and that's what it's about. It's about taking punches. But I was all right in there. As you see, I stuck my tongue out of him.
Yeah, that was an interesting tactic, actually, sticking your tongue out.
Well, it makes them think they can come in, and obviously if he came in, I was looking for a counter, but he was, as you see, he was a smart guy. He didn't walk in and line up for my counter.
Yeah, now, then in the 6th, you really whacked him, and he went down, but again, he got up. Take a look at this. What do you reckon?
I saw him coming in, I threw the counter, and then he still caught me with a counter. But you see, it was a good counter. I've been working on that hook as they come in, and you see, you know, using their own momentum, they fall over. So that was a good shot, and he came back with a good shot as well to counter.
So there we are, 10 out of 10. We've been having these chats ringside for a couple of years now, and so a chance to take stock. You say you're on the road to greatness. Where exactly do you reckon you are? Are you spot on? Are you where you want to be? Not so far? Tell us exactly.
I think I'm pretty much, I mean, after the start of my professional career, I only had 3 fights in my first year. You know, I was beset by injuries, the cracked rib and the shoulder. I think 2002, having 5 fights, already in 2003. I've had 2 fights in my second contest, so I think I've pulled it back. You know, if you look at Ricardo Williams and some of the other big Olympic champions and Olympic stars, he's 9-0, so I think I've pulled it back.
Yeah, now there was a good reaction at the end. Just before we move on to the future, just review sort of the criticism of the past couple of years and what you feel about that. And when papers write the tough things that they do, they've called you fraudly, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Just sum up briefly the 2 years and the reaction.
The bottom line is sticks and stones. You know, I mean, may break my bones, but words are never going to hurt me. You know, I believe in what I'm doing. The team believe in what I'm doing. I have 100% conviction in where I can go. So I've been criticised for the last couple of years by certain people, even certain people in the beef. I mean, somebody the other day called me yesterday's man. I'm definitely today's man, and if you ask anybody who follows boxing throughout the world and say who are the biggest heavyweight prospects in the world, you're guaranteed Audley Harrison will come up. So I'm definitely on track. In Britain is a bit of a narrow view where people are criticising, but what you got to understand, my picture is the world of boxing, and the world of boxing, they're 100% behind Audley Harrison.
Right, we think you're going to probably fight Matthew Ellis next. Now, he was in action a little earlier against Derek McCafferty, somebody that you boxed before. Here's what happened. He won.
How did he look? Did he look good?
Yeah, well, you can have a look. What do you think? Does he look good?
Woo! Speed of those punches. Whoa, lightning. Woo! Well, what people got to realise, you know, Matthew Ellis was a guy last year. He was with Frank Warren on the Sports Network, and they were offering £500,000, saying that this guy's the future. And you know, we've got him now, and he's going to be boxing me next. Could be, looks like. And you know, people can ask him for what himself, but I think it's going to be a good match. People want to see me box a British guy. Colin, what would you think? Good match?
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll bring Matthew in here. You were ringside. What do you think first of all about Audley?
Yeah, he did. You know, at the end of the day, he did his job. He beat the opponent that was in front of him, and he did a very good job. All respect to Audley Harrison.
Yeah, the one thing we have to say about you, you're not the biggest of heavyweights, are you? You're a small chap. You're barely bigger than me, and I would only be a middleweight.
Yeah, but I'm fast though, you know. I mean, I'm fast. I can punch hard, and you know. I mean, Roy Jones beat John Ruiz, you know, and he was only weighed 14 stone. And
With the greatest respect, you're not Roy Jones.
No, you know, I'm not, but I'm Matthew Ellis.
He's a bona fide heavyweight,
you know.
man.
Yeah. So he's going to be your next one, is he?
Well, you have to talk. I mean,
We'll ask Colin McMillan, your manager.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking to try and get that match made. Matthew looked good today. Audley looked very good. Very happy with his performance today. People have criticised his stamina, but I think tonight you saw that he's in great condition.
Yeah, 8 rounds.
8 rounds, and he's done it comfortably. I think he could have done 10 rounds. So yeah, we're looking at that in the future. But like Matthew Ellis is next on the agenda. I think people have been crying out for a credible British opponent. Matthew, you know, as Audley said, Frank Warren had him. He was going to be the main man. Now we've got him. It's an interesting match, and